People wouldn't get the reference because we fucking scrapped the episode. So
the episode was fine.
Yeah. So if anyone is watching this, we do apologise. We didn't put the recording of last week's up because we were talking shit.
And we were quite wrong.
You're watching the show. Watching the show, weren't you?
Yeah, we were watching the show.
How long would that episode have been?
About 4 years. Mate, it was an idea that was shit.
But the worst part is the live feed obviously didn't look great. So
it was shit. It was shit live feed.
What we were talking about, what our predictions were just fucking way off the money.
Well, mine was actually all right. And what I thought was they do 2 rounds of judging, and although the scorecards said exactly the same on both, I think Hollingshead nudged forward in the second one, to be honest. I think like the posing in the first round and whatever he did in between, which was probably fucking nothing, did him good. And I think that when it came to the second round, yeah, he was definitely. I mean, there's that one shot where he's next to Regan, and it's a side tricep, and just the thickness, the thickness.
The side tricep is fucking mad.
Just in the shoulders and everything was like very, very noticeable.
I think that's the main thing that carried him through everyone, really, just his thickness overall. Because he's not like structurally bigger than some of them. Like Regan's bigger than him structurally, but just the thickness and the muscle is like miles more there.
Yeah.
So were you all agreed that it was the Rafa placement?
Well, I mean, I had Raf kind of winning when watched the first round. But by the second round, I was like, no, actually, Hollingshead did nudge forward.
I don't think it should... mostly the live stream, though, because if you look at the photos from the better quality photos and videos from in person, like, it's not even close. James wins comfortably.
I agree. James wins. Yeah, I thought Rafa definitely should have been up there second. I think Rafa's better from the front than he is from the back, though.
Yeah,
that's where he struggles.
His back wasn't.
Yeah, he's weak from the back, isn't he?
Especially next to Hollingshead was absolutely fucking peeled and just dense as fuck.
Hollingshead back double bicep is just over for everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, that was insane.
That's over for everyone.
Lucas also has a strong back double as well, so I think that's where Rafa was then really losing it.
I with the other call out where they made. It was the World versus Samson, wasn't it? For fifth.
Yeah, I think that was an odd one, mine, to be honest. I think.
I thought fucking Hector looked incredible though.
Yeah, I know. What a fucking. I wasn't sure how he'd look against that, and fucking.
The tiniest waist in the shoulder to waist ratio looked mad from the front.
The shoulders, like. Just genetically, his clavicles are about 8 foot wide. He looked insane.
It makes for a pretty good show of the British now, doesn't it? So
yeah,
mate, that's gonna be mad. That's gonna be a real good show. Although Hollingshead probably not going to do it now, is he?
No, he's not. He's not going to do it. No.
What's the point?
No. But this one's a 2021 qualifier. See, It's not a qualifier for this year. It's next year's Olympia. This qualifies for.
Okay.
But
Well,
Jamie's pulled out as well, haven't he? So I think it'll be Samson and
Oh, really?
Mark right in, won't it?
Yeah.
All right.
Why is Jamie pulled up?
Yeah, he just didn't want to do it. I don't think he said.
You gotta think there's something there though, for him to do that.
You don't know what's going on in people's preps, do you?
He might have been pushing quite hard because if you look at the order,
He's also been prepping for a long time.
Did Samson beat him? Yeah.
Yeah.
In the placings. Yeah, he did, didn't he?
And Mark did.
Yeah.
By what? Yeah, one place. Yeah, he beat him by one, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
What is the situation with because obviously Jamie's had to isolate now, for like 2 weeks. So obviously with training with that.
Well, he's got a gym, hasn't he?
He has got a gym. Yeah, that's right.
So he just kick everyone out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, he's all right. Yeah, it's a lot of the people that have managed to hold it together have all had access.
Yeah.
But I thought that they got offered this test to have at the airport to check whether you had it or not, and then that. But I don't think that excuses them from the quarantining.
No, that's not a real thing, because you could be like non-symptomatic.
Yeah.
And also not actually have developed the virus in a way that could be tested. Like you could do a test and then having contracted it and then still come out with it. What
are they going to do? They're going to like train out of hours or something? Because obviously they're not going to be able to close their. Do you know what I mean? Not going to be able to close their gyms or anything, so they'll have to like train by night or something.
Must be whenever people aren't in there.
Yeah, or just
clean it all down.
Just do it, and who's going to give a fuck?
Suddenly, members can't come in from 9 till 10.
Well, that's what Dorian used to do.
Yeah, it didn't open till what, 12 o'clock?
12, yeah, because Dorian trained at 10.
Can you imagine that at the gym now? What time do you guys open? Well, I train on morning, so you guys can't come in till 12 o'clock.
Jack would be fucked. The gym would never open.
Yeah, it'd be like half open hours.
Yeah. We open
constantly changing. Well, I decided I was going to train at 1 today, so the gym's actually opening at 3.
Your face got fat, Dan.
Huh?
I think it might just be the way you shaved, but you face.
Yeah, no, I think it is because I haven't shaved. I've actually dropped 15 pounds.
No way.
Not on your face, obviously.
Clearly not.
I've fucking gained it.
Yeah, I've seen it. I hate you.
It's not good. It's not comfortable.
Mate, 280, fucking, that's easy street. I'm like still like 294 or something. And
I need to get the weight back down. I'm back on pretty much.
I just wouldn't do it. You still look good. So shut your face.
Yeah, but when you can't walk for more than 10 minutes.
Who gives a fuck about walking?
I sort of do a little bit.
Who wants to do a walk? Mate, I literally, like, when I was like over 300, had to like wake up, take Tramadol so that I could walk with dogs. Because the back pump was so horrendous that like literally I'd just be like having to stop every 5 seconds.
Thank fuck there's no Nubin around anymore.
Yeah, I know. I'd fucking love a new babe and a dog walk. Really set me up for the day before I go to work.
How's the ankles, Josh?
Yeah, they come down. It's always worse first off the comp prep, but mate, it was bad. I would like be able to properly stick my finger right on my ankle, take it out, and just watch it slowly come back out. Oh, I got my granny sock. I had my granny socks on for like fucking whole week, keeping them on just to.
Penis.
Hey, that's what you do.
Poke my penis in.
Watch it come back out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I honestly gained that weight within the week, and then I'm about 5-6 kilos up from stage now, so it's a lot more manageable. But yeah, banging on 10 kilos in a week.
You remember
don't feel good.
Armstrongs when we were kids? That texture. That's on my.
Yeah, literally.
Like,
but Johnny, when we were saying about first prep experiences,
yeah,
my first prep when I come off of it, it was like I felt like it was like Christmas Day. And like all of a sudden, I could just eat everything I wanted. And oh mate, I had to go buy trainers that were a size bigger, so that I could then wear them open, and then that's how I could get my feet in. And I went to work with these brand new trainers that were open. And oh mate, I've never gained so much water weight as in after that first comp prep.
Yeah,
I just ate everything in sight. We stopped at every service station on the way back from the show and
Yeah,
got something.
I did that.
It was
I
mad.
bought a whole cheesecake and ate it like a biscuit.
Yeah,
Just
exactly that. You
Yeah.
just think after that first comp prep, you think that you're never gonna be able to eat again, and like it's like you're on death row. Now you just got to eat everything you see.
I
Yeah,
did.
Stuff you don't even
I
want.
3 stone in 3 days. I did.
Oh mate, it's crazy. So like I even remember. So I remember one point, like just my stomach's hurting, like I'm in actual pain. I'm laid on the bed, right, and I'm just like, oh, on my left to try to get comfortable. And all I'm doing is just unwrapping like celebrations and just putting it in my mouth. And I'm just like, oh, so I just keep
Can't
unwrapping
stop.
them.
Can't
Yeah,
stop.
I'm just like, I haven't had it for so long. Just unwrap it, chuck the wrapper away, and just sit there and chew.
I wish I could edit your fucking face out.
no, not possible. Too radiant.
Welcome back to episode 21 of the Bass Bros podcast. We did attempt an episode last weekend, failed miserably, unfortunately. I think it was mainly down to Dan, but everything's Dan's fault, so we know that.
It's true. It's a fact. No one liked the baby in a blender joke, and it all had to go. It went downhill from there.
This week we have Mr. Josh Law, future IFBB pro. We all know this. I'll share his page. Everyone head over, give him a follow.
He's so massive.
He's recently competed at some Two Bros shows. Seems to be destined for second place in a lot of shows.
Yeah, favorite position.
He's kicked my ass on stage before, so yeah, big fan of your physique, Josh. To be honest, bud, we did mention it in the preview for the British that you were one of our, hot favorites for it, and you did look good. Judging looked a bit off, but before we get into that, give us a little rundown, bud, of what got you into bodybuilding, how long you've been competing, all that jazz.
Well, what got me into it? Earliest I can remember is my dad having some dumbbells in the garage that, that typical boyhood story of I just go and play around with them for a little while, play with the dumbbells, and I still remember him showing the classic Arnie size bicep shot like that, and I was like, what the fuck is that? And then from then picking up the old Arnie encyclopedia, flicking through that pretty much every lunch break on my first ever job that I had, and just got hooked. Started training sort of 15, and then didn't start training properly obviously till 17, 18. I was lucky that a local gym guy sort of took me under his wing and taught me all the basics, taught me squat, bench, deadlift, made me do all the main lifts, and then started competing as a junior. Did NABA for NABA Junior, Mr. Britain 2012 was this. So yeah, that's the longest I'd competed all year that year. Did NABA West, NABA Britain, NABA Worlds, and NABA Universe that year. Second year competing absolutely killed me. Going straight in to do the whole year, but that was good. And yeah, a couple other shows to mention. I've done overall NABA West. That was another good one. And then more recently, it's just all British finals. So PCA British final, got second, as I say, second there. 2017, 2018, second to Guy Hardin, and then took a year off. And then now this year just gone, did the Two Bros British final, got fifth. And then a couple of weekends ago did the Ben Weider and managed to get a bit more of a better placing, better showing, and took second. And then back on the grow train again now, back on off season.
Do you think your showing was better?
So it was my first time working with Josh Maley. Our first show that we did. We had a real good strong off season. Just absolutely nailed everything. And then I think in that first show we were just focused on bringing good condition, bringing in a solid package. And Josh, not really knowing what my sort of body was like, just sort of playing it safe almost. And then for the second show, we really sort of pushed the food a lot more. I'm very sort of responsive to food as far as can eat quite a lot, and I know when I'm filled out and when I feel full. So yeah, we really sort of went for it then in that second one, and I think looked quite a bit better.
Give us some numbers then, carbon up on the second one. If you said you went a lot more, so what sort of level of carbs are we talking about for you to carb up?
So for the first one for the British, we were sort of around 600 grams carbs from sort of 4 days out.
So you did like 600 for 4 days?
Yeah, and it was just quite level, 6 to 8. I think the highest it went was 800 on the second day. But whereas on the Ben Weeder, we did 1,000 grams for 4 days.
How are you getting that 1,000 in?
Mainly from cream and rice. I was just pounding. I just ate cream and rice, flipping out. Probably four of the meals, and then jasmine rice. I stay away from potato. Potato doesn't really sit on my stomach very well. Makes me bloat quite a lot. So yeah, literally just swap between basmati rice, cream and rice, basmati rice, cream and rice.
Did you bring your protein and fats down?
Yeah, protein was relatively high. I would personally have gone a little bit lower. Josh likes to keep it a little bit more. But yeah, fat's barely anything, and like only then obviously then
of total.
And then towards the end of the carb up, just sort of trinkle a little bit of fats back in, just to sort of keep your satiety level there, so you're not really wanting to eat too much more. And once the carbs are in, it's just sort of holding you over, really, isn't it? As the show gets closer.
How old are you, Josh?
29 now. Feel old.
Well, no, it's just that for 29, you've got quite a lot of muscle maturity, haven't you, for your age, if you think of it. So, obviously, I've been competing for 12 years or something, and I still don't have the same level of muscle maturity that you've got. So
yeah, I think muscle maturity is, like I say, a very individual thing. Some people, like I say, seems to come quite early, and other people it takes time to really develop. But similar to yourself, Joe, I've been actually competing now. Did my first show at 19, so I've been competing 10 years. Couple years, I've had 2 years off in that stint. As far as off seasons, didn't compete at all. But yeah, I think it's, as we all know, it's a time game with this. You can't rush it. But I think as long as you're progressing, that's the main.
Are we really talking about muscle maturity? Are we talking about like the look? Because Josh has that like solid, like granite like look, and I think it's probably worth poking him for what type of training he's doing.
Yeah.
Heavy.
Yeah, because does Josh do your training as well, or?
Yeah, he sets out as far as like a actual training plan, but Josh is brilliant in the sense of this. This is going to sound weird to anyone. It's like I should keep saying Josh Melly, otherwise I'm going to sound like I'm talking third person about myself. Yeah, no, he's very happy for me to sort of take the reins on the training side of it. He doesn't need to babysit me with my training. He knows that if I'm there, I'm going to do the job. I'm going to get it done. And even before I sort of started working with him, his methodology was very similar to mine anyway. So there's always sort of been the sense of your normal warm-up procedures, build-up and blood flow work before then going into like heavy compounds with a top set, a back off set, however you want to sort of phrase these wordings nowadays. People call them all sorts of different things, but that's how I sort of look at it now. And then sort of finishing the workouts then with more blood volume or normal bodybuilding sets as such on the sort of accessory work. But yeah, each workout would have hard, heavy compound top sets from sort of 6 to 8 to 10 rep ranges, and then a back off set to sort of follow.
There you go.
That's how you get that dense grainy look that Josh possesses, but I think a lot of that's genetics.
I mean, I put it in a post saying about this last recent off season I did that I've made some good progress, but is it also really that surprising that I've made that much good progress when I've just finished an off season where I was eating the most food I've ever eaten, sort of over 6,500 calories. My heaviest deadlift went up to 340. My heaviest bench was up at over 200 kilos. I was hack squatting sort of 7.5 plates a side on the hack squat. And then when you think about it, if you do that solidly for a period of time, you've fucking got to make progression, right?
Yeah.
So
Dan, you mentioned this a lot. Like bodybuilding's not a complicated thing.
Yeah.
You know, like you just said, if you lift the poundages you were and are, and then refuel yourself with the calories that you were, then it's a simple equation. That's just job done. You know.
I think it doesn't need to be any more complicated than that. I think, don't get me wrong, there will be a certain percentage of the population that can get away with a less is more approach, but I've always been a bit more of a hard-working, just fucking balls to the wall, go for it in the gym, and then just keep getting the food in. I mean, I remember setting alarms on my phone to get up sort of 11, half 11, 12 o'clock to get an extra meal in if I needed to. I'm not saying that everyone needs to do that, but I wanted to sort of see that if I did do those sort of things, would it elicit more tissue and more mass? And the weight that I was putting on was still good weight. So every week I was sending check-ins to Josh, and he would put more food in, and he would say, "You're still looking good. You're still looking tight. Let's keep pushing."
In the thing that you said about less is more, you're talking about effort, aren't you? Intensity.
Yeah. Not
sets and volume.
No, so
because,
like,
well, I don't know. I still believe that in volume sense, less, if matched with intensity, is more.
Agree on that side. Sorry, when I said less is more, I mean the guys that sort of
could just pump stuff
around in the gym.
Yeah. But then that's a different body type, isn't it? Because most of the people have the genetics to. I mean, I was doing a talk on the other day on a podcast. You know, Peter Tor or whatever his fucking name is. Talking about psychoplasmic fucking. I forget the name.
Stretching the fibers.
Yeah, so he's talking about like cellular splitting basically through pumping and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think some people are more genetically like susceptible to that type of muscle growth. So the people that can do pumps, they get them and they can go through them. But I think the muscle that grows is different. You know, like some genetically gifted people, they train like that and they have the full muscle bellies, very, very round, like dripping with muscles. But you very rarely get the fullness like that and the granite look as well. If you look at it's like a Flex Wheeler or a Phil Heath having like the huge round muscle bellies like that huge. And then you've got like, Dorian or something that doesn't really have like the bellies, but it's just like rock hard.
Slab.
Yeah,
slab of muscle.
So, like, I think it is like swing. Both looks are,
even when you watch Hollingshead, if you watch a lot of Hollingshead videos, obviously he's coached by Patrick Tor, and I think he almost does a mixture of both, doesn't he? Hollingshead loves his heavy lifting. Still
lifts fucking mad. He's still keeping his own twist on what he's doing and stuff. But then as well, like when you're looking at like they're doing cluster sets. Like Hollingshead's still doing fucking stupid weight.
220 squats, yeah.
I've
seen
so like he's got to a level where he can do stupid heavy shit, but
and
also
still do a cluster set. Yeah.
So it's like he's got the best, but he had to put that base down. What the fuck? Sorry.
Get the baseball bat.
Yeah, he's killed the baseball bat.
Yeah, but that's the thing though, Dan. You don't want people getting it misconstrued in the fact that people like James Hollingshead already had that thick, dense slab of muscle, whereas now it's almost like refining it, getting that little. So that style of training now is that 5% extra, which is going to carry him over. Like he already had that mass and density before.
I mean, what was because like I mean, I've been training I've been probably training or competing the same, pretty much dead on the same time as Johnny and Josh. I started a bit later, which is why I'm old and fucked now. Can you shut the fucking dogs up? You know, so I think that I forgot what I was saying now. The fucking dogs got me right. The fuck was I talking about?
I don't know.
Training as long as me and Johnny, and being that you were a bit older.
Oh yeah. So when we start, when I started, like Luke and that was coming up with, you know, coming up, and I competed against Luke and like, you know, and Hollingshead was all that. They were all doing DC style training.
Yeah.
You know, like super, like low volume, like slightly higher frequency, but just mad, stupid weights. You know, and the rest pause set is just a small cluster set with less, you know, still it's an extension of the set, isn't it? So the theory behind the cluster set is like amount of weight lifted over time. That's the same thing as a drop set or a rest pause set. They were all doing fucking crazy weight, and they were all like really putting that base in with stupid fucking weights. You know, Luke was doing it, Hollingshead was doing it, like you know, JP was doing it, still does it now. That base is there. So yeah, I think people going in, you know, it's like people trying to do pro workouts out of Flex magazine, like when they first started. It's just, you know, people do need to understand that Ronnie Coleman's workout probably isn't a good one to start out, you know, in your first week of training.
What do you mean, like 800-pound squats?
Yeah, because I was going to say, on the flip side of that, what do you guys see in your gyms as far as, I now tend to see, there must be a lot of lads that watch stuff like this, they get the impression of, right, I need to lift hard, I need to lift heavy. But they're touching weights that they have no right to touch, as far as, you know, when I first started in the gym, to put 2 plates, to put 100 kilo on a bar and bench it, I was like, fuck, that's a big weight. You know, and there's lads that come in, groups of 2s and 3s, you know, can't be more than 18, 19 years old, and they're putting like 140, 3 plates on the bench. And I'm like, you haven't earned the right to touch that sort of weight yet. Like, and you can see them, like the spotter's got a full on grip like this, and they're never letting go of the bar, and nothing's happening. And you're thinking,
it's coming up like this.
I think people are like basically saying, when we say heavy, that's personal.
Literally, but
it just
you need to
heavy.
build it up over time, isn't
exactly. It's heavy for you.
Yeah.
You know, but obviously Instagram has created like a battle, hasn't it? A battleground for like, you know, oh, like I've got to lift this big. No, you go up in increments and then lift that big, and then you'll be that massive. You know, do it for 10 years, and then, you know, but like heavy, it just means heavy for you, and it means actually doing like some reps, like in real life, rather than having your mate doing like upright rows.
Can't understand it. I see it so often at the minute.
Yeah. The guys doing shoulder press and not even breaking parallel. Triceps, and then you've got the guys doing chest again. Literally must just be doing triceps because they're barely breaking parallel, just so that they can lift a bit heavier. Just for me, just doesn't make sense. You got to have that. That's what JP says, isn't it? It's standardizing your form.
The form never breaks.
Yeah, standardize that form. And if you can push the weight up with the same form, then do that. But a lot of the people are just doing whatever they can just because it's an ego thing, isn't it? It looks good on social media. Lifting.
Yeah, I still think there's a place for partials once you've exhausted, you know, and there is a place for spot, and there is a point for having your mate drag up the positive and using the negative to like, you know, just
not from rep 1.
But not from rep 1.
Yeah. But when your plan says 6 to 8, you do 6 to 8 on your own, and then you can extend with your chums. And
as Josh said, it's like it's earning the right to it there. You know, once you get that stage, it's, you know, you can go forward then.
Yeah, and then they jump up, do a little shadow box in the mirror.
We've all seen that, guys.
Yeah, I love a little shadow boxer in the mirror.
There's even like the sense of when you see these lads putting weights on these machines and on the bars. I'm sort of in the gym and I'm going, I'm gonna have to fucking keep an eye on you, because that ain't you ain't being able to do that weight. Yeah. And you're sort of watching just to wait and see what happens.
Or you see them and they haven't got their bum chums with them, and then they're like, cool, maybe I can do the same weight. And then
Goes,
You look over and they're dire on the bench.
And we're getting a pendulum squat, and I'm looking forward to people trying to put lots of weight on that.
Mate.
First day, someone's going to put like 3 plates on.
And just like it's going to
Straight away.
catapult them through the fucking like leg plate just into the ground.
Goodbye,
That's
goodbye
one.
knees.
Fossilized.
They are savage.
Yeah.
I like them, but you've got to go fucking, mate. I remember. I think I was doing. There's a Cutler Athletics one in Matt Tofton's gym, and I went up there. Well, actually, Trojan have just ordered one based on my experience with. It's fucking.
Never had a go on one.
I think Atlantis, like, well, when it's in, Josh, you're going to come down. So
Mate, I'll be coming back down. I'll be back down again.
coming down.
100%.
I don't think. I mean, because Josh did come and do a leg session. I don't think our training's that different, really.
No, I really enjoyed our session we did.
So
what was that?
we'll make sure we do it again. I was trying to beige him off as well. I was like, I'm pulling back at the moment. Like, I'll make sure I'm on my fucking A game if this boy's coming out. People are like, who's that guy who's massive? And I was like, I'm the massive guy around here. Okay, don't worry.
I was 3 weeks. I was 2 or 3 weeks out. I didn't have a lot left in me, and then Dan puts me through a savage leg workout, and then he didn't do. He just did quads. I wanted to do a bit of hamstring, so he rolls out the 100-kilo dumbbells for me at Trojans. Do some RDLs on them, he goes.
Yeah.
So I do a couple of sets of RDLs, and I'm just absolutely fucked. Just can't wait for my post workout. And then he goes, "Let's go up and do some posing now, then." and then put me through rounds of posing. I'm starting like seeing stars at this point. I'm thinking, fucking hell, are we done yet, Dan?
Pausing after leg day sucks.
Had to be done. But like I remember just like, yeah, you like got your pants out and whatever, and I was just like, yeah. I didn't even have to tell him. I was like, yeah, that's ready. You should do that. You should do that.
No, you gave me some really good tips that day. To be fair, and still.
Yeah, actually, we had a few posing tips on the quarter turns, wasn't there?
Yeah,
there was holding the bar, wasn't there?
That was the one. That was the one, man. I had that on stage every time.
Yeah, there you go. Dan's top tips. For those of you who are wondering what we're talking about, for the side pose, I'll try and tip.
Is it the quarter turns?
Yeah. So I say you've got to like imagine that you're holding a bar.
Look at this.
Yeah, and then just move the bar as if you're still holding it, rather than like kind of trying to do something.
Can we see this in trunk version, please, so you get the full effect?
Down to the lines, please.
I don't want to see that.
No, you want a barber there, man.
There you go. That's a pro card right there, mate.
Mrs. laughing in the background.
I couldn't figure out whether you were pregnant then.
Pregnant out of my ass.
No, you're fucking belly, you can.
Oh.
We've all fucking been there.
I know. I can't see much. I can hell of a gut at the minute.
I mean, I kind of cut my bulk a bit short based on just the amount of distension. Basically, I was like,
why? Anth called you up, said you're a fat cunt.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not quite that mean, but it was like saying, "Oh, that's a bit much, isn't it?" So the thing is I don't really get that fat, but my guts just get swollen as fuck, and so there is a kind of a limit. It's not like I can do a cycle and like, well, obviously I don't do steroids, but if I did do a cycle, like then there would be a limit to it, because it takes out of me digestion. That's pretty much like, you know, and I've pushed through those places before and just like been taking like 5 or 6 shits a day. It's just becomes pointless. You're not even absorbing it. So
have you noticed this due to anything particular, or just the sheer amount of food?
I think it's just the sheer amount of food, because I'm not like, I'm not that fat, but my lower abs, like, it's like a little, like, it's just a swole baby. It's like I've been drinking like Tennant Super for 10 years. Yeah.
So do you worry about that as far as?
I haven't worried about it in the past because I've had distension worse than this. And my waist is never really something that someone's ever gone, oh, your waist's way too big on stage.
Yeah, when you're in shape.
So I've always managed to get, but I think as I'm getting older, I think, you know, I do need to worry about it more than I have done in the past.
Yeah.
yeah, it's not something I kept an eye on, but I think this time round, you know, as people
Might be a
do
bit
get
more
older,
sensible.
you know, you don't bounce back in that area quite so much. You know, hopefully it's not visceral fat, like, you know, under the muscle in that area and stuff, because that's pretty hard to fucking obliterate in a prep. So yeah, we're spinning some ideas about that, but yeah, it's to get bigger, like, you know, like the weight of food I've got to eat, like 7,000 plus, is just like, there's a limit to how long you can kind of do that, really, I think.
Yeah.
I feel like a bit of a prick now. I was only joking, mind.
Well, no, but it's true. Like, it is true. And actually, my focus of, like, I'm already like pretty big, so like, yeah, I do need to bear that in mind, because you don't get something for nothing, right? So I'm getting bigger and everything's going well, but usually you'll pay for that somewhere else. You know, maybe not straight away, but somewhere down the line. And, you know, I can, if my waist is permanently larger, it won't really matter if I put on £10 or £7 of tissue, because it won't look like it, because I've got a fucking distension.
Yeah,
So I think, like you said, most people notice that once you start prepping. I mean, I can always tell through my training belt. You know, you get in the last few stages of prep, the training belt's pretty much on the last notch, or you need to go get a smaller belt.
Yeah.
And then off season, you're thinking, but now this belt's a lot tighter, and you're on the last couple of notches on the opposite end now.
So I've never had a problem with it before, but I think, yeah, it does need some.
I'm on the other end of the scale. Like, so I find that because I've never really pushed food that hard, that when I do a prep, the amount of food that I eat, because I start in a pretty low place, I end up having to push my food so low that my waist comes in insanely tight, you know, sort of the last couple of weeks of but that's because my body's not had to have that digestive stress that yours has had, but then I haven't put on the same level of muscle as you have either. So it's like a double-edged sword, isn't it?
You have to, like, play to your strengths, really. And I've never had a thick waist. I've never been called up on having a big waist and stuff like that. So, but I think, you know, I'm 36 years old now, and these little things don't bounce back quite as fast. So I've got to, like, you know, just watch it. I think it'll be fine. Like, I look at the old, you know, the Universe prep. I didn't think I was distended at the Universe or at the.
I was gonna say, I can't think of any images of you in prep that have had any sort of distension.
Yeah. So, but I just think that would be a shame to blow out something that's a strength, you know, for the sake of walking around at 310 or whatever.
I know you're natty, but if you weren't natty, would you use GH?
If I can afford, if one can afford GH, but this, and you can have a reliable source, which is basically fucking impossible. You basically, I know someone who basically goes on like midget forums, basically, where they like talk about, like, you know, like being like, and then he like DMs them up for, like, yeah, can you get a prescription?
What growth have you got?
Yeah, you got some growth. Like, just searching for like midget children, being like, don't feed it to your kids, sell it to me.
I mean, it's a pretty solid business. Fucking
yeah, I mean, obviously, like, you know, there's no fault in it at all, but yeah, everyone's a winner, obviously, apart from your little tadpole
apart from the little kid who can't get his growth.
Yeah, apart from the tadpole kids that you've got, like, just. But that's all right, because someone can win a show, so it's definitely worth it.
on what you were saying about the food, though, Dan, where it goes so high, there's something that I noticed off of the off season where my food was sort of 6,500. How low down did you then take it during prep? You notice that your food can still stay quite high?
Yeah, I mean, the first part of my prep, I do a 20-week prep.
Yeah.
And so the first part of the prep is, well, all the way through when I'm doing things, I do push and pull back, push and pull back. Like, and so I do 2 steps forward, 1 step back. You know, because I think anyone who thinks they're going 100% all the time has never touched 100%.
Yeah. No.
So I'm not, and also, like, if you were using enhancement and you reach a certain level, I think it's naive of you to think you can progress without. So when the things are out, you know, I think it's better to just pull back. You know, you usually picked an injury up with the push, you know, concentrate on form, realign things and restructure, like, your energy, like, elsewhere, and then bring the food down, give your digestion a bit of a rest, and then push again. So like before I start a prep, or what like the universal, actually the British as well, just before I start, I'll do like I don't want to call it a mini cut, but like I'll bring stuff down. And then the first part of the prep is pushing back to the weight that I was at my highest.
Right.
So that way I can like get the metabolic response and get my body used to the highest food that it's had, and then move down from there. You know, it's like when you get, I don't know whether you have people in the gym or you get clients and they're like, cool, I want to get shredded. And you're like, okay, cool. Can you send me like a food diary of what you're eating? And they're already eating fucking nothing.
Nothing.
And then you're like, well, I can't really, we have to feed you first, because once you get to like 0 carbs and like 2 hours cardio, like your body just say fuck off, and you'll probably store more fat.
Start eating sawdust.
Never wrap their head around it at the end of the day, and you're trying to tell them, right, you're gonna have to have a short period with a bit more food. And they just can't seem to wrap their head around it.
So that's the thing. So how low do I go? Probably no lower than 3,000. You know, my carbs, I never go to 0. You know, I do a couple of load days. Like AMP's quite old school, so we do depletion and load. You know, I know everyone says, oh, it doesn't work, or whatever, but it seems to have done all right. And so I have gone like as low as like 80, but usually like in the kind of 300 carbs zone, really.
No, just interesting.
Is like nothing for you, innit? 80 for you is like 0 for more.
Oh, that's stare at the wall territory, that, isn't it? It's like you go to bed and you're just doing the fucking street luge, like
wait until you can eat them carbs again.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you've done a fucking evening on the drugs.
Oh yeah,
but you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know.
Just doing sideways walking in your bed, just like get rid of. It was like, how do you wake up so early? How do you wake up so early to do cardio? Because I know if I wake up and do my cardio, then
get your food earlier.
there's no earlier riser than someone who's got a high carb day. No one gets up earlier than that person.
They're 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Just about to say it. You almost get like an excitement for it.
Yeah.
3 o'clock. Is that too early to start doing cardio?
Yeah, no, it's 6 a.m. somewhere. So
the worst one I've ever had, right, was I was with Mark Robinson, a cardio sports nutrition, and he used to give me like a proper 3-hour window every week where you just go nuts, right? And this was at a stage where I thought I was kicking the ass out of the 3 hours. So I remember I had 12 donuts in a pack, fresh ones, sat on my lap, and he told me that I could have a cheat meal between 6 and 9. This from 4:30, I sat in front of the telly with this pack of donuts on my lap, staring at them. And then as soon as 6 o'clock came, I was like, just run down my
6:05. 6:05, the donuts are now gone.
Yeah,
they were gone.
I mean, actually, that's kind of why I don't do cheat stuff, because and I think most people do, especially females as well. I think that like most females have a weird relationship with food, and and they can also, I've never met a female that can't actually eat what I eat if we're out.
Yeah, they can put away
somehow. They're just like, hey, you're gonna eat that? Like I don't know, they have like this bottomless pit syndrome. So I think
mine don't even ask sometimes. She just takes it and eats it. I was like, I was saving that. She's like, well, I'll go get another one.
Oh yeah, you were saved the best bit, and then it just gets robbed.
No, I just mean as far as if I bought something and it's in the fridge and I'm thinking,
I'm talking about on my plate. I'm talking about on my plate.
Oh right.
So like if I'm eating out, I mean, not when I'm off season because I fucking hate eating. So I try and just give it to the dogs or whatever. But like I'll like save, like if I'm eating like a steak, I'll find like the best like bit area and like put it to one side with that's fillet of that. And then Ellis will just be like pop.
She's like, that's a really good bit, that bit.
Yeah, that's a good. Was all of your steak? Wow, your steak's good. I was like, I plowed through all the gristle to get to that.
Just about to tuck into the good bit.
Yeah.
Josh, are you currently like, so you having your blood work done on sort of coming off everything? Is that what you're doing at the moment, ready for the push back up?
So at the minute it's just a sense of letting the body relax and chill out. Not training is literally day on, day off. And then we'll sort of see where we come out in another maybe 2-3 weeks time, get all the relative work done, and then go from there. Really.
The reason I asked was I had my blood work done yesterday, and I did a blood. So based on the Ben Chow conversation we had when he was on, I decided to get a bloodlet done. I don't know if any of you've seen the bloodlet needle. It is fucking obscene.
Did you get one? Or
Yeah.
You got the bag, or you got it done somewhere?
Dave Crossland did it, right? So his new company came down, but it
I know. Yeah, I saw him on there.
It's like a pack. It's got the needle already on the end. He pulls it out. It looks like a fucking headphone jack. Do you know, like the proper big?
Yeah.
I was like, and I'm not joking. I'm shit with needles, and they put it in your fucking vein to drain to give you obviously a bloodlet. And it's fucking disgusting. And she was like, "Don't move your arm." I wasn't worried about moving my arm. I was worried about passing out.
Oh yeah, I remember you're a fucking you're a puker and a passer.
I didn't pass out though, so bro, I did. So I had the bloodlet in that arm and I had the blood test in that arm. But in all fairness, yeah, I won't be doing that in a rush.
It just came back as dead. Your blood test just came back as dead. Deceased, 1994.
Came back as I'm not passed out this time.
little fossils just came out.
On a serious note, what I was worried about was that I was so freaked out having the bloodlet in this arm. I then did the blood test out of this arm. Is that going to affect the levels? Because I was so freaked out like a right little pussy. Is that going to push everything out?
I got it coming up. I haven't got it coming up.
Yeah.
So I'm not.
I've not experienced bloodletting yet because although like I'm an absolute bad man, I don't know how I would maneuver putting that headphone jack in myself.
I don't understand how people can do it themselves.
I've tried to find people to come and do it, and like every nurse I've known been like, it's not really worth my license, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, if you just bleed out on the
you sound like some sort of vampire as well. You come take my blood out for me.
Yeah. People like,
when Ben was on, didn't he say that Luke used to do it himself in the bar?
Yeah, into voltage balls.
I was just going to say, yeah, he used to leave it in a Volvic bottle in the window in the kitchen.
A Coke bottle, he put it, and he used to put it in the bath, didn't he? He said he used to do it over there.
He used to leave it there, didn't he? He used to make him sick, didn't he? Why would fucking leave it there, like? But yeah, that's fuck doing it yourself, especially with a needle. A needle is fucking huge.
So that was a little plug anyway. Anyone who wants to get blood work done, anything like that, bloodletting,
or infusions, you get vitamin infusions and bloodletting and tests.
His company name is Eval, new company. But he's great. He's great for all bodybuilders. There's no judgment there like you would have if you go to your fucking doctor. So
have you tried the vitamin product that they do?
No, I wanted to, but it's one of those ones at the moment, like it's like 200 quid for a proper top of the range one, like a decent one. And financially at the moment, that's not
just wondering how it would actually, the effectiveness of it. And, that's the next sort of level that you see now, is it everyone's getting their sort of supplements and vitamins literally injected straight into them.
Yeah. Well, they
do that with chicken.
He does a new one. So Dave's got this one that you have pre-contest.
Yeah.
And it fills you up and it makes you more vascular. He's developed it, and apparently it works. Yeah. Well, I don't know the theory. Well, obviously I understand the basics behind it because it's obviously absorbed a lot quicker. But
hey, Dan, we'll chip in for you to get that just to see how crazy.
Imagine that.
Dan don't need to be any more fucking vascular.
It wouldn't be skin. It would just be veins. It would just be a vein.
The whole vein, one complete vein.
There's definitely a heart attack in there. That's definitely that's gonna get it for me.
Yeah.
When I was talking, because he came to Matt Tofton's gym when I was up there, and Matt Tofton just got the highest one or whatever, and Dave was quizzing him about kind of an instant like feeling of feeling amazing or whatever. I'm not like, I don't think it was quite as impacted as that, but Dave is expecting a level of like well-being and feeling good like pretty quickly. I mean, I've heard people doing bloodletting and feel pretty damn like good, like within hours.
Yeah, I definitely felt better yesterday. And again today, you know, I felt a bit more energetic and stuff. I've never done one before because my red blood cell count has never really been an issue for me, and plus I'm shit with blood, so I had no real reason to. So yeah, I had it done, even though my red blood cell count is still not an issue. I did it anyway for the health benefits of doing it, and yeah, definitely feel a bit better, and not like blown away better, but certainly.
Yeah. I do remember a doctor taking my blood before I'd even picked up a weight, saying that I would fail a Tour de France blood test.
No shit.
That's a good sign. So like nowadays it must just be like fucking candle wax. Or like when you like have, do you remember the little Play-Doh people with the hair?
Technically, Dan, you're the reason the gauge of those bloodletting needles have to be so big. Otherwise they just wouldn't come through.
Yeah, I'm still a bit, I don't know if I can do it myself.
Oh dude, honestly it sucked, but like I just didn't look.
If anyone's out there wants to come around my house and do some paintings with my blood, hit me up.
I guess while we're on the subject though, it is one of those things that something so simple as even buying a blood pressure monitor for someone looking to improve their health whilst bodybuilding or whilst trying to gain can be something so simple as a health marker to watch out for. You know, do you take yours in a minute, Dan, or do you roughly know what yours is?
Yeah, I take mine quite often. Mine's actually like a little bit low. Yeah. Which is like weird. And actually every time I've gone and had them done professionally, they'd be like, no. Your blood pressure can't be perfect. Yeah. So they take it again. Or they have to get the leg one for my arm. Yeah. And once they've done that.
That's always, isn't that as a bodybuilder, like the bit that you always want to have? When they go to put it on, they go, we'll need the bigger car.
Yeah. Hey, I lived for that.
That's when you're like,
no. Yeah. If they don't say it, then you have to stop them. That's not going to fit.
Yeah, that's like when I'm buying condoms. Stop. That's much too big.
You need the smaller one.
I need the much smaller one. I think the only thing better than that would be rejecting a ride at Alton Towers for being too massive. That's the next one. You just get to the front and they're like, sorry, you're too massive. And you're like, it was worth it.
I went to Oakwood years ago and I went on that hydro. So I was off season. They pushed me in and they told me to breathe in. So they got me onto the first click, right? First click. And I'm like, fuck, I can't breathe. Didn't notice until it was too late. I didn't. They came back round. By the time I come back around, I was fucking purple, and they were like, off. I'm just like, I'm gonna pass out.
We got the photo.
Scary ride for you for a different reason.
Yeah, you should have bought the photos.
You should have got the photos.
Going around like.
We've got eight people with a tan and then just Johnny with a purple head fucking holding on like
I challenged Dan or Josh to go up to Oakwood and go on hydro because they're bigger than me. So
all right, Josh, we'll have to do a gay outing. Me and you will trade some legs.
Dan will be more purple than normal.
Hey, there we go. We could do that. The Bash Bros Day Out. Like a child's fun fair and see if we can break the rides.
Things bodybuilders can't do.
Yeah.
On Oakwood Park, they've got that little train that goes around, don't they, down to the thing. Does that still go? That little train takes you down? Yeah. That's fucking tiny.
What about the toboggan thing?
That'd be class. We'd flip over.
Because you can build enough speed, and when you take the corners, you like go right to the top. And if you did it
Dan would be fucked. He'd just fly off.
I think I did see a video of someone doing that on the like turn, just flipping like off.
You could flip.
Yeah, I'm not doing
Definitely.
That. That's not.
Oh, you could be too heavy that you burned the bearings out.
Mate, I'm shit with heights. I'm shit with heights. Nowadays, I'm shit with heights. So I used to like do tombstoning and shit when I was a kid. And I look at what I used to jump off and I shake my head at myself. I feel weird walking over a bridge now. It makes my butthole clench. Or if I'm on the internet and I see any of this free running shit, you know, when they fucking dangle their head. Oh, mate, my butthole just fucking turns inside out. I don't know what it is. I'm like, makes me feel all fucking weird. I can't watch it. I'd rather fucking eat a moth. Oh god, that made me want to throw up.
So Josh, what's next for you, brother? What's the plan? What's the goal?
Wow. the first thing I should do to mention, I guess, is next year I'm supposed to be getting married.
Oh,
In
As
June,
long as,
June or
remember when
July.
it is?
I know mine, Dan. I know. It's in November. It's in November.
A good fiance.
But yeah, so I think there's no immediate plan for competing, and I think after my success of my last off season, if I can have half as good an off season as what I did have, then that'd be good.
Is that November next year?
My wedding, yeah. So we were supposed to be married. We were supposed to be doing this November, but fucking we all know what's going on with that. So yeah, I'd probably just look to get in a good position now, coming towards the end of the year, and then start to really push probably towards the end of the year into the new year, and then see where we get to really.
This is good news because November next year is probably when I'm going to compete. So I'm glad that you're not there.
Well, if I have a good 6 months at least, we'll never know. But I don't see me.
You
doing
can't be
anything next
competing.
year.
You can't be dieting for your wedding, surely.
No, she'll chop my balls off if I do that.
I'm going to turn up to my wedding so fat.
Well, I got a lot of questions of that because where it was supposed to be this year and I was dieting, everyone was saying, "Well, what are you doing about your suit? You know, are you going to be big? Are you going to be small?" So yeah, I'd rather go full moon face.
Yeah, I'm going to have to like get the suit measured like a week before or something. Like really close to the time, because it fucking depends wherever it's going to be. I mean, I'm going to look like a stupid cunt anyway. Once you get past a certain size, we've covered this already, you look like shit in anything. Do you remember there's that picture of Ronnie Coleman? He's got that blue suit on. He looks like a fucking Boeing.
Yeah, the Olympia.
Yeah, like
it's fucking ridiculous.
Just looks shit, don't you? I'm not saying I'm Ronnie Coleman's size, but there is a limit where you can. We're talking about like fashion. I mean, obviously, like I've never been fashionable because I don't give a fuck about anything like that. But like, if you can wear normal clothes, you're not big enough.
So you'll have Ellis looking like bang on in a wedding dress, and it'll just be like a potato.
Yeah, basically, just sweating through my suit, like dripping.
Can't wait to see the wedding photos where her face is going to be like that.
Mate,
Just
Photoshop.
Just disgusting.
I'm gonna find a photographer that's really good with Photoshop that can Photoshop out all my rosacea and just superimpose like Brad Pitt's face.
Just put Abe's head on your head.
Yeah, just get someone else, get a stunt double. Like they get fluffers in porno. I'll just get a fluffer in to do the day for the photos and that, and then I'll come in and do the Hadoukens at night time. Just
use a filter that all these bitches on Instagram are using. You look fucking amazing. It's right.
Yeah, top model filter, and you're fine.
Yeah, turning five.
Yeah, the one that says like
cute. The tens immediately, like
cute. That one.
Like nice freckles and
can't.
Oh, massive.
Right. Do we have questions for Josh, lads?
Then I'm none at all, to be honest, boys. I do apologise.
Yeah, I would have just said nothing.
Oh, I shouldn't just cut that out then.
Yeah, I would have
just cut that out. Sorry, Josh.
Any questions, ma'am?
Anyone?
Jacobeth?
Whoa.
What?
Whoa.
What's happened, bud?
Deep
no, he's seen a ghost. No, really.
He genuinely has.
Who are you talking to me then?
Yeah.
You couldn't hear. Someone started speaking on my laptop, and it was the YouTube video that I had up. Just randomly started turning on.
Oh, of course it did. Did it sound like this?
I was going to say, I think someone else popped up.
I'm looking for questions.
Lick my butthole, Charles. Oh, someone, it's just a YouTube video. Oh, yeah.
Right, so someone's put in the question box. This guy messages me daily and comments on my pictures every day. His name is Raja Guru, and he messages me the same thing every day and says, "Jack Thorburn, sir, please help me, sir. I am a farmer worker. Please help me, sir." And he sends me videos every day of him on a farm in like India. And he's like, "Jack Thorburn, sir, please help me, sir. Farmer worker, sir." And he sends it every day.
So, have you got any tips for him, Josh?
Good say, sound like you fucking want to help him.
Well, he says he's a very poor farmer worker. He can't be doing much work if he can message me on Instagram every day. But
I mean, I don't know. I think there's different definitions of poor. I mean, I'm old school. If you were poor in my day, you didn't have a phone and Instagram.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Instagram didn't exist,
Like,
but the equivalent
of
of Instagram was, I don't know, a local phone box.
oh, you ring the sex line and run away. And then run away.
I do remember as a kid, I rang Childline and said my teacher was a pedo.
Did you?
Yeah.
Genuine.
Well, so ironic. You're now a teacher.
Yeah, I know.
I was going to say, you might get that back in some of your
Yeah, I'm definitely owed some stuff. Definitely owed some stuff.
The laptop's getting taken back off.
I remember my brother pranked the police, right? And his mate dobbed him into my parents. And my parents took him down the police station, and the police like pretended to arrest him. And he was like 9, crying in the cell, like, oh, I would do it again.
the good old days. Not allowed to do that anymore.
Yeah, you can't do anything fun anymore, like beat your kids and have them arrested. Bullshit. Never did me any harm.
So
Dan, do you do parents' evening?
I do parents' evening, yeah.
Oh, mate, I would love to see some of the parents.
They all think that I'm like the security. They're like, well, when's the teacher coming?
I am the teacher.
Oh, fuck, I didn't put my glasses on.
Yeah, no, that's true. If I got the glasses on, just wear really baggy stuff and pretend you're fat and jolly, and maybe a bit camp. Hey! Peachy McNabb here. Shut up, Alex. It's not what I'm like.
Yeah, imagine him giving your kid a fucking report. You wouldn't be to take it seriously.
That's what I mean.
I do remember asking my boss once if I could do someone's report in one word, and he said, "I think I know what that word is," and no.
Can't.
Yes, that was the word.
I bet all the little bastards hate you when they got to come to your table with their parents.
Well, like the thing is, because it's college, a lot of them just don't show up on stuff. So if people,
they just don't go in at all for it.
Yeah, they just don't. Like people's. Sometimes you meet someone's parents and you go, right.
I understand now.
That's why.
That's why. And then you get a little soft spot for them. You're like, it's okay, I understand.
It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
It's not your fault.
Yeah. Jack, any questions, pal?
No, apart from there's a guy who trains in a gym down by me, and he works away quite a bit. And I think he was up in what gym do you train at? I think he was in the gym and he spotted you because he said there's some massive guy called so and so here, and he didn't know that I knew who you were. And he's now said if you're down for an arm session in 2 weeks' time when he's back up there.
Definitely don't do arms.
Yeah, don't do arms.
No, pro strength and fitness in Swindon.
Yeah, I think he was training the other day. So, but that leads on. So, what roughly what is your split? Like, I know you've talked about your philosophy, but what sort of your split look like?
So at the minute, well, in prep it was push, pull, off, legs, off, push, pull. So, and then that was
you're in the sort of push pull leg.
Yeah. I mean, with that, the pushes are somewhat different each time, in that one is sometimes more chest dominant, one is more than sometimes shoulder dominant. So they do have like a rotation in them.
You've got a pretty well-rounded physique, so I think that's quite like a good setup for you. You don't really have to target things too much.
No.
Potentially adults would need a bit less than everything because I think they're probably a standout body part. But
like,
yeah, I agree.
The biggest shoulders I've ever fucking seen.
I think how you do your structure should resemble what you're sort of trying to prioritize in your physique and in your strengths and weaknesses. So, you guys have spoke about it to a blue in the face, but there's no magical split, obviously, as we all know, but you can still prioritize what needs to be worked on. my feedback coming off of the shows was more chest, yeah, and I personally want a lot more sort of quad and leg still, you know, taller, bigger guy, taller guy. But with that being said, the goal is still really everywhere.
Yeah,
still everything to improve. You know, more back, more hamstring, more calf. You never get criticized as having something too big. It's just that everything else needs to come up.
yeah.
Or you could just do what Dan does and then make your body so big that your legs look weak when they're not.
Oh, mate, Dan has not got small legs.
No, I know, but that's what I mean.
Don't tell him that. On this podcast, you're only allowed to tell him that they're small.
Yeah, the small legs.
It's just his traps are flipping and everything else is so fucking swole that you can't help but then look at them as well. But Dan has definitely not got small legs.
Do you know, my training partner said to me the other day, he said, I've stopped training traps. I said, why? He said,
because Dan told me not.
Dan said you don't need to do it. Have you seen Dan's traps? Said, Dan doesn't need to do traps. I said, but you fucking do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely. It's definitely like, yeah, it's just, if I didn't have traps, I would train them.
Hey, Dan, you're officially an influencer now. Hashtag blessed.
And how about that? I like that'll be the new thing. Like that'll be the new snatch grip RDL. Just be everyone just doing no trap work.
You're going to be responsible for the UK being a pencil neck.
Yeah, everyone will just have no traps. Inverted. They'll have like delts that go in there, and then
collarbone. It goes collarbone straight into delt.
Yeah.
But I think that's definitely a take home as well, though, isn't it? Whatever as a new person to the gym, don't go and ask the guy with the standout body part how he got his standout body part.
100%. I've always said that. Like, if you're going and like, my God, your legs are amazing. Like, how do you get? They're probably not the one to ask. Like,
when you're watching train and they just do a little bit on leg extension, they just do some leg press, do some casts, and they call it a day.
Yeah. I know some people that have to not train lower body, like do it once a month, because they just somehow just blow up, you know, or do like, you know, 3 plates aside squats like for 3 sets, and like they're fucking enormous.
Yeah, you wouldn't ask Phil Heath how to train arms, would you? Like,
I wouldn't ask him how to do fucking anything.
No.
Phil Heath's got to be the last person I'd ask for any advice on how to train.
Except abs.
Yeah, maybe. I'd be like, hey, how do you train the thing? Yeah, do the thing. Yeah. Oh, all right. Cool. I mean, that's you know, obviously Phil Heath's absolutely phenomenal. But have you ever seen a training video of him?
Oh yeah, he looks dreadful. He's training.
No,
he's training.
There aren't any training videos.
There's one with one squad.
I've trained in the same gym with him when he did the tour, right? And he was training next to me, and I'm not joking. I thought he was just getting a warm up, but it was his workout.
That was his working set.
He can just get away with it. And I think that, you know, with the training split, and if you are designing a training split, if you're starting out, everything's small. So don't be breaking stuff up, trying to think about, like, just get fucking big and strong. Yeah. People are like, oh, what split I should do, or have an arm day or whatever. Like, don't do an arm day. Get fucking massive. Like, get strong and massive. Because you've got to put 5 years in, really, before you realise what's weak anyway. You know, like, just do what you can, because people are like, well, I think I've got a weakness here. It's like, you're weak everywhere, which is fine if you're starting out. But you know, you're assuming something until you've given it the stimulus. You know, work until your weaknesses actually show, and then prioritize them. And if you have something that's fundamentally really strong, you see that ego people will concentrate on that, and there'll be loads of photos of that area and loads of things. What I generally do is forget about your strengths. They'll look after themselves. You know, you just do what you do, keep doing it, they'll grow. You know, like, if I'm not thinking about training chest or back, I can just lift heavy shit and it kind of just does its thing. But you know, my legs, it's all I think about. It's all I think about. It's what I go to bed at night, like, thinking about how to strategize, you know, changing a form, changing the thing. I split my legs in 2 workouts, and I split my upper in 2 workouts. And to me, that makes sense. But until you've got a weakness, you know, like, just fucking slam it on. But yeah,
I also think until you get to a top level as well. So, like, even once you first then turn pro, you still should still be the aim of I still need to get bigger everywhere.
Yeah,
And then only once you're at the pinnacle do you then go, right, to now improve, I need more of this, more of that. Like yourself, Dan, you're at that level now where you need to prioritize, like you say, more legs, and then once you get that, you'll take that to the next level and go with it.
Well, I've thought that as well. When we interviewed some 212s, because we've had an amazing turnout for the 212s, haven't we, in this podcast? And it's very interesting to see, like, you know, when you're a limit, you know, and there is a super heavyweight like limit, really. Like, okay, I'm big enough. Now all I've got to do is kind of just shift stuff around a bit.
Yeah.
Like that's obviously an area where 99.9% people will never get to, is a point where you're like, that's definitely enough mass. Yeah. Now I need to perfect it by moving stuff around. But it's something that the 212s will see faster than a super heavyweight, because, you know, it's not always the biggest guy that's winning. You know, look at Big Ramy. You know,
you look at as well this weekend, Akeem Williams, didn't he? He won the Chicago Pro. That guy is just dripping in muscle, and we all know he comes in a couple of percent tighter than he was, and he's going to be a threat for that top 6 at the O. We all know that. It's just he never has quite come in, is he?
No.
I think he's probably one of those guys who, like, is just so genetically gifted as well. He just needs to someone to give him a kick up the arse a little bit, probably. You know, there was that Lockett. What's his first name?
Michael Lockett.
Yeah, Michael Lockett was like, his missus sat him down for his contest prep and was like, you know, do you do all the contest prep stuff and then you do the show? And he was like, yeah, well, I think that makes you look worse. Why don't you not diet? And he was like, oh yeah, all right. So his contest prep was to not diet. And then he won like the New York Pro or something. I can't remember which show it was or whatever. He won a pro show, like by not.
I should definitely try that. Like,
yeah, mate. It's
if I
definitely
put trunks on, you wouldn't see them.
But yeah, I think that's another thing that people would take away is like, don't ask people who are genetically gifted. It's not, you know. And if you're sat there wondering, maybe I'm genetically gifted, you're not, because you wouldn't be searching. You wouldn't be searching for answers if you were genetically gifted, because from the moment you started lifting weights, you became incredibly responsive. So if you're wondering, well, but maybe you're not. You're not. If you even thought about whether or not you might be, you're fucking not. Was it Samson did his first show and won? Like,
I was there.
He walked around like that. He just walked around like that. He was like, well, I'll do a show. Oh, what do people do when they do a show? I don't know. I think they just look all right and I'll do that. Yeah. And then he just did it and won.
Yeah, won the first timers. Then I was sat in the crowd thinking, oh, thank fuck he's not in my class. But then obviously he did my class too and then won the overall the prep.
Yeah. He gets prepped by his missus, doesn't he? Is he prepped by his missus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how that relationship survives.
Yeah, he trains with his missus as well. I mean, I don't know how that was done. As soon as me and Alice, like, obviously I've written diets and we did things and we did a trial run to check that she had enough muscle to start competing and stuff, because I wasn't going to let her unleash her until she was like, you know, like at a reasonable standard. And then as soon as it was actually prep, I was like, Dan Welburn, can you take this? Like, no fucking way. You know, it's. I think that's madness. But I mean, the prep for Samson's probably like, you see that rice? It's like, yeah, rice. It's like, well, eat a little bit less. Like, oh, okay, yeah.
I'll have two scoops of rice instead of 3.
Yeah. Like, or just leave a bit. Do you remember Ronnie Coleman's dieting when he was like eating out and he like scraped a bit of like sauce off his steak? I was like, yeah, diet. Like,
I remember that.
You remember that? Unbelievable.
That saved me some calories.
Yeah, he was like, that's literally like what he was doing. But I mean, I've heard rumors about people like Phil and stuff like that they just like change like some red meat meals to like chicken and then just get dialed.
They drop in the hammer.
Yeah. I did get one question, but it's probably it says quick question. It's from a guy called Logically Built, which is ironic. It says, is it true snorting orals makes them more anabolic?
Does it, Dan?
Yeah, Dan's going to know the answer to that, and if anyone does.
Well, I mean, I always think if you can crush it up and snort it, you should. Right? Whether it's a light bulb or a an infant.
Please fucking don't.
Yeah. We're not,
Disclaimer,
we're not
disclaimer.
promoting doing that.
Disclaimer: no.
Would you
Wasn't
snort
Rich
pre-workout?
Piana like snorting pre-workout at one point? Was that?
Oh no, that was what people were telling you to stop thinking you were sniffing coke. Yeah, I just sniffed my pre-workout. No,
Yeah, I mean, it didn't end that well for him, did it?
he overdosed on the pre-workout.
On a scale of 1 to not very well.
It's like a 12.
Yeah, I mean, you know, can't speak bad of the dead, but I think he made some poor choices along the way.
Yeah. Anyway, let's not get into that. So before we wrap it up, anyway, I wanted to discuss the fact that obviously we've got the Bash Bros t-shirts dropping. Well, they have dropped. So if anybody wants to buy those, they can drop me a DM on Instagram on the Bash Bros page. We've also banded about the idea of potentially going with speaking to the guy at Monster or designs the Monster Designs about doing us, the four of us in caricatures. How do you even say it?
Caricatures, yeah.
That one. It's a lot harder when you think about it.
Parrot jazz.
Yeah. Anyway, the ones from the guys, the aliens from Space Jam, that sort of thing. The four of us standing around a biscuit, looking at it,
Wanking on it.
with fuck the biscuit underneath.
Somebody wanking on the biscuit.
So,
That's
anybody's
gonna be
suggestions on what that design should be, please comment below.
That's gonna be sick.
Yeah, I think so. The four of us, like
You could have a limited edition one as well and put Ryan where the biscuit is.
The bomb has dropped. Fucking go to war.
Fuck the Ryan. Anyway, so yeah, I won't keep you all night. Josh, you do appreciate you coming on.
No,
but-
we need the 5 tips.
Oh yeah,
Five
go on.
tips,
With the
brother.
5 tips first.
Josh, every week we ask people of great knowledge and muscle mass, and we ask them to give 5 top tips. They don't have to be about bodybuilding, and actually some of the ones we've got were pretty shit. So don't put too much pressure on yourself. It's kind of a quick fire thing.
Just have fun with it.
And don't say find God.
Can you first of
That
all
was
hear me very
so
well? My
awkward.
headphones have gone.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me all right? All
Yeah,
right.
yeah, all good.
5 tips. Get ready for it to take time. So sort of stay dedicated. You know, when you speak about people, what they want, their goals, everyone fucking wants everything yesterday. So dedication, I guess, would be 1 to the game or to the goal. I don't know. This is hard. You could let me know this before, so I could have
Well,
prepared.
this is why when we know you don't watch the podcast.
Yeah, you clearly haven't watched the episodes.
Well, no, he does, just not this far in.
Yeah, which is fair enough.
I'm bored now.
When Johnny
Usually
starts
not
talking
as
about
funny
wrapping it
as
up, I flick on.
But once you finish the wank, you know, it's not much. I feel disgusted afterwards after I finished. I'm like, what was I watching? What was I watching? There's 3 midgets in this
next
one.
thing I'd say would be prepared to be uncomfortable. I guess get used to being uncomfortable, whether it's prep or off season. There is a sense of, you know, force feeding. There is a sense of suffering on prep and being hungry.
Because I do get that. And do you get this, Jack, as well? Like, oh, I woke up, but I didn't feel too good, so I didn't do any of the diet. Or, I felt like my stomach was a bit bloated, so I just ate KFC that day. Or it's like, no, like feeling pretty shit is like kind of standard. Like whichever way, whether you're pushing or whether you're pulling back, like no one's like coming out force feeding, like zinging up in the morning, like a hurrah.
I can't wait to eat, yeah.
I think Josh really wants to go, so maybe we'll just let him fire them off.
Go on, Josh. It's the last 3, brother.
Sorry, lads, my very.
He's gonna pull a fast one and say you can't hear.
Oh, sorry, can't hear you. Can't hear you. We're breaking up.
Guys.
Tip number 3: get a new phone.
Come on, maybe the missus can give us one if you're firing blanks.
Say one more time.
Maybe a missus can give us a top tip if you've gone blank.
Right. Yeah, she's got a few more than I have. What have I said? So yeah, suffering. No, I'm not doing as good as these ones. Lads.
That's all right. Suffering. It could be about anything. You know, fuck biscuits. I think was mine.
Don't
overload
play soggy biscuit with Dan.
Yeah,
That's a very good
always
one.
win.
Don't eat Dan's biscuits at his house. That's always a good one. Remember when you got engaged, and remember when you're supposed to be getting married. That's another one.
Remember when you're getting married.
Yeah, good, solid plan. I booked tickets to where we got engaged. We did not get engaged there. Fuck, not again.
Love it. Right, okay.
Yeah, no, apologies, boys. I didn't do as well as that on that one.
Sorry, bro.
Good.
So I think it's only best that I do some.
No.
No. We're doing that for you.
We can shut down,
No,
you
so you
bastard.
wanted to give some top
Okay,
tips.
yeah. The no tips from me, and I'd like to really reiterate: don't listen to me ever.
Ever.
Especially your students.
No, I teach my students good stuff about real things. Okay, that's not true. But on the podcast,
Okay.
few lashings of salt.
A few lashings, you mean the full fucking grinder?
Yeah, eat the whole thing.
I love it. Right.
And apparently, there's no pink. There's no, there's no pink rocks in the Himalayas.
Oh, handy to know. On that bombshell. Thanks, Josh, for coming on, brother. It's been a long one for you, bud, and you're standing up right now, so go sit down.
That's all right.
Much
It's
appreciated.
My belly headphones ran out of charge.
No way.
Stupid Apple iPhones.
Yeah.
All right, come and do a leg session soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, mate. 100%.
All right, man. Good
Maybe
to see you.
we'll come via the Bash Bros training thing.
Well, they're gonna if they lock Wales down, you'll have to all come Trojan anyway.
Yeah, I won't, but Jack probably will. Anyway, peace out.
Well, thanks, mate.
Screw you.